Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be for beginners who would like to learn how to use Gutenberg to build a full business website. And here's a preview of the site we're going to build together. It's called Web Coders, and it is for a fictional company that specializes in web design and web development services. So let me give you a quick preview of the site we're going to build together. We're going to have the homepage with the main banner with some animated text, and then we'll have different sections like the who we are section, services section, portfolio section. We're going to have the testimonials section, client section, and then last but not least, the contact us form. And then we'll also build each individual page. We'll have the services page. As you can see right here, we'll have the team page that will have the image, title, name, and then a short bio of each team member. We'll have the portfolio section, the pricing section with 3 different packages and 3 different prices, and then finally the actual proper contact page with a contact form and a Google map. Now, in addition to working with Gutenberg, we're going to make use of 2 additional add-ons. The first one here would be the add-ons by Kubeli, or called Kubeli by Themium.com. The second would be the ultimate add-ons for Gutenberg by Brainstorm Force. We're going to make use of the Ocean WP theme as well, and all of these are free. You don't have to pay for any of them. So by the end of today's tutorial, you will have learned how to use Gutenberg to build yourself a full professional business website. And just a couple of things to mention. Number one is the fact that this is for beginners. And what that means is that the next 2 videos I'm going to cover would be for how you can get yourself a web hosting and a domain name. And then the very next video after that, we'll cover the very basics of Gutenberg. So if you're somebody who already has web hosting, you have a domain name, you're already familiar with Gutenberg, you just want to learn how to use Gutenberg to build a website, skip to the lesson titled Initial Setup. I'll have the timeline in the box below, so you can just skip to that part and start with the course. Second is that I'm going to provide for you the images that I've used in today's tutorial. It's going to be in the Dropbox folder. I'll have the link for you in the box below as well. So I hope you find today's tutorial very, very informative and very, very helpful. Without wasting any more time, let's get started. All right, let's get started by talking about how you can get yourself a domain name and also some hosting. Now, I'm going to recommend that you go with SiteGround because, in my humble opinion, they are one of the very best web hosting companies in the world. I have been hosting with them since 2012, and I've never had any real reason to leave them. The support is excellent, plus you get access to really, really awesome features. So the thing about SiteGround is that they typically offer you 3 different packages for hosting. So I'm going to click on Get Started right here, and the 3 packages are Startup, Grow Big, and Go Geek. The main difference between Startup and the other 2 is that with Startup, you can only host 1 single website, but then with Grow Big and Go Geek, you can host unlimited number of websites. So for a start, I would recommend you go with the Grow Big package. That way you can host as many websites as you want. And then if you need access to more features later, you can then upgrade to Go Geek. So I'm going to click on Get Plan, and the first thing you'll have to do right here is to register your domain name. If you already have a domain name that you want to use, just go to I already have a domain, type in the domain name, click on proceed, and the steps are very, very straightforward. But I'm going to assume you don't have a domain name, so I'm going to click on register a new domain, and then I'm going to type in something absolutely crazy right here because I know no one in the world has this domain. I'm going to click on proceed, and then you just have to provide your information. However, there is one very, very important step down here. You see where it says this data center of Asia. Let me just refresh this page. I'm not sure why I had that black screen right there. Okay, so right here, you can see it says data center and it's set to Asia. You want to choose the data center that's closest to where you live, because when you do that, you will be able to retrieve information from your website a lot faster. So there are several of them scattered all over the world. So choose the one that's closest to where you physically live. Very, very important. You do have access to extra services like domain privacy and the site scanner. You don't need those. You can just go ahead and simply pay, and then you'll get your email from SiteGround welcoming you, thanking you. And then let me show you the actual back end. So once you buy the domain hosting and you get your email, this is how the back end would look like. So from here, once you're logged into your account, you can go to websites, and then right here you can click on new website right up there, and then you can choose a domain. I'm sorry, choose the hosting that you're currently using, click on continue. And then this way you have access to a feature called a temporary domain. So you can actually create just a temporary domain to practice and do all sorts of stuff. You click on select right there for the temporary domain. Automatically WordPress will generate the name for you. You click on continue, and then right here you'll have this page for adding a new website. You click on start a new website, and then right here you choose WordPress. You add the email, password, click on continue, and SiteGround will install WordPress for you on that domain name. Now, if you on that temporary domain, now let's assume that you want to install WordPress on your existing domain. Right here, when you open up the backend on the website, you will see your domain right there. What you want to do is you want to go over to Site Tools. Okay, now this will take you to the actual proper backend for your website. And this is where you can do things like add caching, add security, and so on. But you want to install WordPress, right? So you go to WordPress right here, and then you'll see install and manage. You click on install and manage, and then it's the same process. Right here, you click on select WordPress, and then right here, all you need to do is just add the username, your email, your password, and you click on install, and that's it. WordPress will get installed on your website. By the way, I do have a full tutorial here on YouTube on how you can use the backend for SiteGround. You can check it out. It's in depth, over an hour long. It covers everything you need to know. Plus, I'm also going to offer you an alternative. I'll recommend SiteGround first because I think it's easier to use, but an alternative would be Cloudways. The significant difference between SiteGround and Cloudways is that Cloudways doesn't offer you shared hosting. Cloudways offers you cloud hosting, which is a lot faster, more powerful, but also more expensive. So Cloudways is for more experienced users. So I'll recommend you go with SiteGround, but if you want to go with Cloudways because of cloud hosting, I do have a full tutorial also on YouTube on how you can access the backend, how you can install WordPress and do things like that. So be sure to check it out. Now, let me also just mention before I round up this video that I am an affiliate for both SiteGround and Cloudways. And in fact, with Cloudways, there is a deal I can offer you. You can find out all the information in the box below. And then also with SiteGround, I'm an affiliate for them. If you want to buy hosting with SiteGround or Cloudways, please do use my link in the box below. What that means is that when you buy hosting with them using my link, I will get a small commission. It's a good way to support me and support what I'm doing here on this channel. So this pretty much covers how you can get yourself a domain name and hosting. And if you have any questions about this, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them. Let's now proceed to the basics of Gutenberg. All right, so let me give you a very quick preview of how Gutenberg works. And I'm trying to add a post right here. And the thing about Gutenberg is you will have access to something known as blocks. Blocks would allow us to add different kinds of content. So right here, you will have the plus button. You click in there. You go to browse all, and right here on the left, you'll have access to all the available blocks. And please note that I have already installed the add-ons by Kuberly, which is why you see the blocks on the Kuberly. But down here, these would be the traditional blocks available with Gutenberg by default. So let's say I wanted to display a header. I will click on the heading block right there. And then from here, I can type in the words, "This is a header." Okay, now if I go back in here, I can change things like the heading from an H2 to an H3. I can change the text alignment. I can make the text bold. And then right here, I can do things like make it italic, add a link. And then every block that you use will have the options. It's the three dots right here. You click in there and you can do things like copy the block, duplicate the block, and so on. We will work with that a lot in this lesson. And then the thing is, over here to the right, you'll have access to more options. So for example, with the header right now, because we're using the heading block, we can do things like change the font size. So we can make it like huge as an example. We can change the size in pixels. We also have access to the color settings. We can make it red just as an example. So the kinds of options you have here on the right will depend on the type of block you're working with. Let's add a different block now. Let's go with the image block. So right down here on the media, I have the image block right there. I'm going to go to media library and I'm going to choose this image right here. And okay, so right now, if you look over here to the right, you will notice we have access to a different set of options because we're working with an image. So you can change the style. We have default, you can go with rounded. Now you can see we have a rounded shape of the image right there. And then we can do things like change the image size. We can add the alternative text. And then we can do things like change the width, height. And then we also have the advanced tabs right here where we can do things like add an HTML anchor and so on. So that's pretty much how blocks are. You go right down here to the plus button to add yourself a new block. You choose the block that you want, you add it, you add the content, and then over there on the right, you can make changes to that particular block. Now up here, we also have the post settings. So when you click on post right here, this is where you can do things like change the post format, set it to pending review. You can alter the permalink right here. You can add your categories, your featured image, and so on. And then up here, you also have access to the plus button, which is pretty much the same one that works down here. It's the same process. But then you have access to things like the modes. So you can go with the edit mode or select mode. You'll have access to the undo buttons and redo buttons. You'll have the information button right here that will tell you how many characters are in your post, how many words, blocks, and so on. And then you also have the outline. You click in there, and in here, it will basically list all the blocks that you're currently working with on your post. So that's a very, very, very quick crash course on how to make use of the Gutenberg page builder. Let me just mention one thing before I forget. Up here, you also have the settings button, which pretty much displays the access to the block settings, the post settings. So if you want to go with a full preview, simply click in there and you'll just be able to see your entire post or page at a glance. And then right here, you also have additional access to more options where you can go with the full screen mode, visual editor, block manager, and so on. So don't worry, as you progress in this course and you're taking the lessons and you're actually working with me as I build the website, you will get a lot more comfortable working with Gutenberg and you'll become much better at using the page builder. So that's it. Let's now begin with the actual course proper. All right, so let's get started with our business website, and there are a few things I want you to do. First of all, you will find for the resources attached to this particular lesson, you will find a zipped folder. I want you to download the zip folder, extract the contents, and then add the images inside of that content to your media library. You should see images like these. So please go ahead and do that one first. And then second, I want you to create 5 different pages. So you're going to have the contact page, the home page, the pricing page, the services page, as well as the team page. And let's actually add one more page. So let me go ahead and add the portfolio page. So in total, we're going to have 6 pages. So portfolio, let me just go ahead and publish that. And there you go. So you should have 6 pages. Then let's come down here to settings, go to reading. And then we're going to change our homepage displays from latest post to static page. And then we're going to choose our homepage to be home. Okay, let's go ahead now, save our changes. And awesome. Next, we're going to go to appearance, go to themes. And let's go ahead and add a new theme, which we're going to use. And that theme is going to be the Ocean WP theme. It's the one right here. I'm going to go ahead now to install the theme. And of course, activate the theme. Now, when you do that, you will see the recommendation to install another plugin called Ocean Extra. It's basically an add-on plugin to help customize the Ocean WP theme. So let's just go ahead and click on Begin Installing Plugin. And now from here, just click on Install. And okay, so you may see this kind of error message saying the plugin generated unexpected output. Just click outside, okay? Just click outside, click on anything. And then if you go back to plugins, you will now see that the plugin is now active. So I don't know why the add-on does that sometimes, but it's okay, not a problem. I'm just gonna go ahead and close this, skip setup, and let's go ahead and add 2 other plugins. All right, the first one here is going to be the Cubely plugin. So it's Cubely, Kubeli. That's a very, very interesting spelling. So it's the one right here, Gutenberg Blocks and Page Builder, Kubeli by Themium.com. I'm going to go ahead now to install that and then activate the plugin. And then one more plugin we're going to add will also be the ultimate add-ons for Gutenberg. So it's going to be Gutenberg Ultimate Add-ons. I believe that's the name of the plugin. And it's the one right here by our Brainstorm Force. Okay, we're going to work with this one as well. Let's go ahead now to install the plugin. And there you go. All right, so that's it for the very first part of this video. Just a few things once again. Make sure that you've extracted all the images from the zip folder attached to this video. Upload them to your media library. Go ahead and create these 6 pages. Change the reading settings from homepage displaying the latest blog posts to a static page, and then set homepage to home. And then finally, go ahead to install these 2 plugins, the Kubeli Advanced Gutenberg Blocks, Ultimate Add-ons for Gutenberg, and also the Ocean Extra theme when you install the Ocean WP theme. All right, so that's it. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Welcome back. So now let's begin to work on our home page, starting off with the homepage banner. And just so you know exactly what we're trying to accomplish, this is exactly what we're trying to get at. So you see right now we have the background image right there. We have a headline here saying, "But don't just create your website," and then we have like the animated headlines right here. We also have a see our services button in here as well. So quite a lot of work to do. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to edit our homepage, obviously. But before we begin adding blocks with our Gutenberg, down here where you have the Ocean WP settings, we're going to make some changes. Okay, first of all, the content layout, we're going to go with 100% full width. Okay, and then right here where you have title, you can just go ahead now and disable the page title because we don't need that. Now, from here, we can begin to add our blocks. So the first one we're going to do is I'm going to click on the plus button right here, add block, and just click on browse all. The one we're interested in is going to be the Kubeli row. Okay, it's a bit more sophisticated than the row block that you do get with Gutenberg by default. So I'm going to click on row, and then we'll just choose the single column layout. Click in there, and there you go. Okay, now over here to the right, let's first of all go over to background. Okay, click on background, and then for the background color, we're just going to go ahead and choose black. But then we also go with the background type, click on image, and then for the background image, we're going to choose this one from our media library. It's the one right here. Let's go ahead now and select it. And there you go. Okay, now content position, go for middle. Let's scroll down here as well. And now we want to enable the overlay. Okay, so I'm going to enable the overlay right here. Let's scroll down. For the overlay type, we're going to go with the gradient. So gradient. And by default, you'll have this green and blue options. Click on the circle right here, the green circle. Click in there first of all, okay? And then I'm just going to go ahead now and choose like kind of like a shade of black down here. Yep, it's the one I have is 090808. That's the hexadecimal value if you want to use the exact same color. And then for the second one right here, I'm going to click on the circle right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this arrow right here to change this one to the RGBA values. And what I have here is I have 5. I'm going to go with 46, go with 90, and then I'm going to go with 0.69. 0.69. And there you go. All right, so these are just my own personal favorites. I mean, you can go with any shade of color that you want to use with your overlay. You don't have to use the exact same ones that I'm using. One more thing we should do actually is for the Ocean WP settings, go over to your header, okay, and then right here where you have header style, go with the transparent. Okay, this will now allow us to have the background image overlapping the menu and the logo. So I'm going to go with transparent. Let's go ahead now, update, and let's just see what we have right here. And there you go. Okay, so we're getting there. We're getting there. Still a long way to go, but we're getting there. Okay, let's go back now to edit the page. And one more thing we're going to do for the row is to actually set a height. Okay, so while your row is highlighted, go to the height dimension right here. You see it's set to auto by default. We're going to click in there. We're going to choose custom. And then the minimum height I do have in my book right here is going to be 700 pixels. So this will make the row a bit taller, okay? So from here right now, we can begin to add our headline. We don't just create your website, and then we can also add our animated text as well. So first things first, right here, just hover inside of the section where you have the plus button right here. Click on it and then click inside again. So basically you're double clicking, okay? So you click once, then click again. All right, so what we're looking for right now is going to be the header. I'm just gonna click on browse all. And where is it? So it's the one right here, heading, okay? We're looking for the heading block. Let's just click inside. And then from here, I'm just gonna go ahead now and highlight this text. And we want to add, we don't just create your website. So I'm going to say we don't just create your website. I know you can't see it, but it's right there. So let's make this a bit legible. So I'm going to go over here to style for our heading. And of course, the alignment, we're going to go with center. Okay. And then for the heading, click inside. And then for the color, we're just going to go with plain white. Okay. Just plain white. The font size, I do have 40 pixels. So we don't just create your website. Awesome. All right. We're getting somewhere. Next right now would be to add the animated text right here saying we design a proposal, things like that. So what do? I'm going to click on the plus button right here. Okay, plus button to add a block. Let's click on browse all. And then we're looking for animated headline, which is around here somewhere. Where is it? Down here, I think. Okay, it's the one right here, animated headline. Okay, animated headline. And there you go. So it's put it above the main headline, but that's okay. Right here where you have the down arrow, just click in there to move it down. Okay, fine. Now, what do we want to add? We want to add several pieces of text. The first thing we're going to do though is, in order for us to be able to read and see what it's saying, let's first of all change the headline level here from H4 to an H2. Okay, text before, make this one to say we. Okay, and then text after, we're just going to go ahead and remove that. Okay, now for the animated text, this is exactly where we can add the text we want to use. So let me just remove all of those. The first one here I'm going to say is design a proposal. How do you spell proposal? Proposal. And then I also have a plan your strategy, and then one more, engineer a solution. All right, then from here for the color, I'm going to click on the color right here, button color, and then the actual color itself, you just click inside, and let's just go with this blue option right here. Okay, so that's what we have. And voila. Okay, one more thing to change, I believe, is going to be the initial we button. You can see right now it's in black. So to change that, let me scroll down here to where you have design, and then right here. Okay, so where you have color, let's just click in there, change that one to white, and then we can also design and click on the typography button right here to enable it. So we enable it. And then we can change the font size to 40 pixels. And voila. Okay, one more thing is right here. Okay, just above the animated text, we can change the alignment from left to center. Okay, let's go ahead now and update. And there you go. Let's go ahead now and view the page. And okay, so we're getting there. Still a few more things to change. You can see there is some space between the we don't just create a website and then the top of the header right here. But before we handle that, we still need to add the See Our Services button. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that one. Let's click on Edit Page. And okay, so let's go back down here. Let me just close this one in. Let's come down here and let's click inside, and then once you click on any one of the initial blocks, you'll have this plus button pop up again. Let's go ahead now and add the new block, which is going to be button. It's the one right here, button. Let's click in there, and we'll just say C in caps lock, See Our Services. Okay, and there you go. All right, so right here where you have style, let's click inside. And then for the button URL, we'll handle this one later, but let me just go ahead and type in our services. I will show you what this does. It's basically what you call an anchor link. The point here is that when they click on the See Our Services button, it will take them down to the services section, which we'll still build later on. So we'll talk about this much later, don't worry. So services, and there you go. So size as well. Right here, I'm going to click on the button size to go with a custom size. Okay, and then right here we have the option to add custom padding. All right, so instead of going with the global values, I'm going to go with the custom values. Okay, so click on the button right here for custom values. And now I do have my values in here. The first one here is going to be 11 for the top, and then 14 for right, and then I have 11 again for the bottom, and then finally I have 16 for the left. And that's exactly what we have. Okay, one more thing is going to be the icon. So right here where you have icon, you click in there. Let's scroll down, enable icon, scroll down again, and this is the one we are looking for, the one pointing down. And then we have some other options in here. Position is to the right. The gap, mine is 7, but of course you can make this one 8 or 9. It's really relative, but I'm gonna go with 7. Okay, one more thing quickly is that you will notice that there is plenty of space between the animated text and then the See Our Services button. Right now they're right next to each other, so we're going to create some margin. We're going to add some space, and so in order to do that, make sure that you're highlighting the column holding the See Our Services button, and then from here you will see this button right here called spacer. So just click on spacer, and then right here you have the top option. We're going to go with 110. Okay, so that's quite a lot of margin. 110. Let's update, and now let's view the page, and there you go. So we're almost there. At least we have almost the same kind of spacing. However, we don't just create a website. This main headline in here also needs some more space as well. So let's go ahead and add the space for this headline. So I'm going to click on Edit Page one more time, and then click on the column right here, and then click on the spacer, and then we have for the top here as well, we have 170 pixels. That's for the top. Let's go ahead now to update, view the page one more time, and voila, there you go. One more thing, we've not yet finished. We need to change the color for our menu items. Right now you can see they're kind of brownish. We need to change them to white as what we have in here. So let's do that. I'm going to go back to customize, and we're going to go over to the typography, click on main menu, and then oops, not main menu, my apologies for that one. It's actually going to be the header. Okay, header, and then menu, and then right here, my apologies. So right here you have the link color. So right here we can go with white, and there you go. It gets a bit confusing when you have so many options for customizing the way your website looks like. Okay, and there you go. I'm gonna go ahead now and close this, and Voila, we have successfully created our banner. And of course, we might still make a few more changes as we progress, but for now, we have our logo, we have our menu items, we have the background image right there, we have our main headline, and we also have our animated headline. And finally, we have our see our services button. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Welcome back. So let's continue. The next section we're going to build will be the who we are section. And as you can see, this is exactly what we're trying to accomplish. We do have basically a 2-column row. And on the left, we have a title, who we are. We have some text, and then we have the meet our team button, which ideally when clicked on should go to the team page. And then on the right, we do have this image. And there's a cool effect when you hover on the image, you have web coders and the tagline, a close and experienced dev team are popping out. So let's go ahead and build this out. So I'm going to go ahead to the edit page and I'm going to scroll down. Let's wait for the page to load. Let's scroll down here and voila. All right, so I'm going to click on the plus button right here to add a new block, which will essentially be our row. And I'm going to choose the 2-column layout here, 50-50. And okay, now let me just do something real quick. Since we're working full width, since right here, you have like the background going full width and things like that, you can just come over here and where you have the alignment, the change alignment, right, just click in there and just go with a full width. Okay, so that way we have more space to work with. And you can even do the same with the very first row in here as well. So we have kind of like a better representation of what it would actually look like on the front end. Okay, let's move on. So let's just go ahead and handle the second column first because it's much easier. It's just an image and then a cool animation effect. So I am going to click inside of the second column right here to add a block. Click inside again. And I'm going to go to browse all. And I'm going to choose the image block under Qubly. It is right here, image. So I'm going to choose that one. And from here, I'm going to go over to the image section to now insert our image. And it's the one right here, who we are, with all the fists pumping. Select that one. And all right, so the quick change you should make right here is switch from simple to blurb. Blurb is the effect where you now have the headline and then the tagline. Okay, so we have blurb. Let's make some changes right now to how it looks like. So I'm going to scroll down here and you have, of course, the URL, the alt text, but we don't need to work with any of this. Okay, I'm just going to come all the way down here to where we have the overlay down here, overlay. All right, so it's enabled. Now for normal, that is without hovering, we're going to disable it. So we can simply disable by just clicking on the clear button right here. So we remove that effect. But then when we hover on the image, we want to have this kind of like a dark effect. Okay, not the blue effect that we have in here by default. Okay, so I'm going to go in here, switch to hover right here. And I'm going to switch from the background, which by default is set to gradient, switch that to just the regular color. And then we're going to now choose the color, which should be something around blackish in a way. So what I'll do right here is I'm going to drag the first button all the way down here to red. And then let's just choose something around here. Okay, that's maybe a bit too dark. Maybe just something over there. And actually, that's not too good either. How about something up here instead? Okay, check this out. I'm going to drag the second button right here as well, and then we can drag this one down here, and there you go. That's the effect we're looking for. So if you're interested in the RGBA values, it's basically just 31, 29, 29, and then 0.3. Of course, it doesn't have to be exactly like that, but this is close enough. All right, next thing right now would be the actual headline, which is web coders, and then a close and experienced dev team. So what we're going to do right here is we just click inside, we change image block to web coders, and then the tagline will simply be a close and experienced dev team. And let's remove with Cubely image block. And there you go. Okay, so we're done with the second column. Let's now concentrate on the first column. And this is where we have to do some work because again, we basically have 3 blocks. We'll have the block for the headline, who we are, a text block for our 2-paragraph text block, and then the Meet Our Team button. Let's first of all add the header. So I'm going to click inside the first column, click inside again, and we'll just choose the heading block right here. And we're going to say who we are. Is R in capital? Yes, it's in capital. All right, who we are. Now notice that we do have this nice underline. It doesn't fill the exact width of the headline. It just fills W and H. So it's kind of like a small border. Now, how do we do that? It's actually pretty cool. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. But let's make some changes to the actual headline. So the first thing we're going to do right here is the heading itself. We're going to go with a font size of 44 pixels. And then the weight, I'm going to go with 300 pixels so it's not too dark. And now for the actual line right there, the separator, I'm going to come all the way down here to where you have the separator. Okay, and then the style, you're looking for line. All right, and then once you choose line, we can then choose the actual color for the separator. By default, you have this darkish blue color. But what I have here for my notes is going to be 5cc and then 5EB. Okay, that's going to be the color for our separator. And there you go. Now, for the other values, the stroke basically will represent how thick the border or the separator will be. I'm just going to stick with 3. And then width, of course, will dictate how long the line would be. I'll leave this on 60, which was the default. Okay, and then we have spacing, which will, it doesn't really change anything unless you go all the way down here to 44. Anything above 44, you start to see that you now have more space between the separator and the actual headline. But we don't need any of that, so I'll just go back all the way to, let's say, 20 or 19. Doesn't really make any difference. Now, position, we'll switch this one to the bottom. Okay, and there you go. All right, next right now is going to be the text block. So I'm going to click in here where you have the plus button. Okay, let's click in there. And now I'm going to go to browse all. So we're looking for the advanced text block right here, advanced text. And I'm going to remove the headline. We don't need that one. And I do have my notes right here. So let me just grab this notes real quick. Copy. Let's go back to our browser. And then right here, I'm going to paste the text that I just copied. And there you go. Now, of course, you can choose to use the exact same text if you want to, or you can just use lorem ipsum for some dummy text. Now, the last thing we need right here is going to be the actual Meet Our Team button. So let's do that. I'm going to click on the plus button down here to add another block. And you'll see the right here button. We click in there, and then we'll say Meet Our Team. Meet Our Team. We need to make some changes, so we'll go to style right here, and the button URL, I'm going to say / and then services. The reason why we're not using anchor links in here is because when somebody clicks on this button, we want to take them to the services page. Okay, so that's why we're not creating any anchor link in here. Alignment is going to be to the left. And then the actual design, we need to change the background color to the shade of green that we have right here. And from my notes, the shade of green, the hexadecimal value right here is going to be 5BB and then 70B. Okay, that's the shade of green that we have. And now when you hover on the button, you can see right here, it switches to lightish blue. We don't want that. Right here, you can see it just switches to a dark shade of green when you hover on the button. So to make that change, let's go back to our design, switch from normal right here to hover. And now right here, We can now click inside to choose our color. And let me just check my notes for that one. We do have 0C, 7A, and then 10. That's going to be the darker shade of green that should appear when the user hovers on our button. And there it is. Now you do have a border color in here which we can remove. So just click on the clear button right there to remove any border color. Same goes with the normal design as well. Just come in here and clear the border color. We do not need that. Let's go ahead and update the page and let's see what it looks like. Let's scroll down here and we're almost done, as you can see. However, there is one major difference between what we currently have and then what we have right here. Over here, you would notice that the mid-arting button is smaller, but also the height of the first column seems to be aligned perfectly with the height of the second column. Over here, it's very obvious that the first column right here, the height is a bit taller. So there are a few more changes we need to make, and let me show you what they are. We're going to go back to edit page. The first major change we're going to make would be to increase the actual width of the entire row. To do that, I'm going to scroll down here and just try to click outside in here. Make sure right now that the entire row is being selected. You can see right now we've chosen the entire row holding these two columns. Right here where you have container width, I'm going to add values 1240. So we're going to make the row a bit wider. Next, the first column right here, click inside. Make sure it is the first column and not just the who we are section. So it's the first column right here, everything. We're going to change the width from the default 50% to 55%. The final change we're going to make would be to deal with the button right here, make it a bit smaller. So I'm going to click on the button block, go to style, and right here where you have size, we're going to go with the custom size. Click inside and let's switch the padding from the global to custom values. I'm going to click inside, and now I do have my values in here for 11, 17 for the pattern to the right, 11 for the bottom, and then another 17 for the left hand side. And there it is. Let's go ahead now, update. Let's view the page, scroll back down here, and that is it. Looking much better, much closer to what we currently have right here. There's just a few little differences, but it's okay. I think we've pretty much gotten what we needed from this section. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Let's continue with building the home page, and what we're interested in right now is building the services section. And this is a bit more tricky than the who we are section, because now we're dealing with a situation where we have 3 rows inside of like a main row. So basically you have one row for the services headline. We have another row that has 2 columns, however, each column having 2 info boxes. And then finally, another row that will have the all services button. Let's go ahead now to get started. I'm going to scroll all the way down here to the back end. And let's go ahead now and add our new block, which will be the row. Now, this is going to be the major row containing all the other blocks, all the other rows inside of it. So I'm going to go with the 1 column layout. And let's just do this right now. I'm going to make this one full width. And now we can add the very first block, which is going to be our headline. So in here where we have the plus button, let's click inside twice. I'm going to add the heading, and the heading right here is simply going to be services. Now here's the thing. The services headline right here pretty much shares the exact same design as the who we are headline up here. So rather than us having to go in here and add the font size and so on, what we're simply going to do is we're going to go to our who we are headline, click on it, and now right click, and then you will see copy style. Copy style, go back to our services, click on services, now right click, and then simply paste the style, and there it is. Now the only thing that didn't copy was the position of our border, but we can change that very, very quickly. Let's go over to style, align the services to the center, come down here to separator, and then simply switch the position from top to bottom. Okay, awesome. Next now is going to be the info boxes section. How we're going to do this? Well, check this out. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to click on this plus button right here. Now, you may already know this if you've been using Gutenberg for a while, but just in case you're new to Gutenberg, the difference between this first plus button right here and then the one down here is that this one will add new blocks to our existing row. This one down here will add blocks to a whole new row entirely. So pay attention, don't make that mistake, because it's very, very easy to lose concentration and just add blocks to the wrong row. So let's go back in here, add a new block. Now it's going to be the column. All right, I'm going to go ahead and choose a row, and it's going to be the 2-column layout, 50 by 50. Let's select that one. And now we can begin to add our info boxes. Before we do that, let's make some changes. In here, I'm going to change the alignment again to full width as well. And then for the padding, you'll see by default, we have 7 pixels of padding top and bottom. We're going to reduce that a little bit. So let's go over to the background right here. Sorry, not background. We're going to go to advanced. Right here where you have top 70, let's make it 40. 40 for the top and then 40 for the bottom as well. Cool. Now, let's go ahead and add our very first info box, which will be the one for web design, a modern approach, and so on. I'm going to click on the plus button in here, click on it again. Now, the block we're looking for is what we call the info box. You can just search for info, and it's the one right here, info box by Quibbly. I'm going to choose that one. And then immediately right here where you have the layout, we're going for layout 2 because it has the icon on the left hand side and then the text by its side. So let's go with layout 2. And then the very first headline here is just basically our web design. I believe it's web design. Yes, it's web design. And then the text, let me just grab my notepad file. Actually, I don't need a notepad file. I'll just copy this directly right here. Copy, go right here. Let me just paste our text. Okay. Over here to the right, this is where we can begin to customize the info box. We're done with the layout. I'm going to close that one. Let's now go over to the media. And we're going to make some changes. The very first icon, which is the one right here, is the feather icon. So you can search for the icon in here, search for feather. And it is the second one, I believe. Okay, that's the first change we're going to make. Next right now would be the icon size. Let's go with the custom size. And I do have 50 pixels for the custom size. We're making it a background, so we'll keep that one as it is. Now the background size will be 40 pixels, make it just a little bit bigger. And now for the color right here, I'm going to click inside and let me check my notes. I do have 5DA and then EFF. That's going to be the color for the icon. And now right here, notice that we have the fill color. We don't need the fill color. So I'm simply going to just clear the background color. We don't need that. However, notice when we hover on it, on the icons right here, it changes. So we're going to have to make that effect. So I'm going to go over here to hover. And now let's add the background color right there. The color is going to be white. So it's going to be FFF. And then the background color will just be the opposite, which will now be the initial color, which is the 5DAEFF. And there it is. And there you go. So now that is the hover effect right there. We don't need a border color, by the way. So I'll just go ahead and clear the border color. We don't need that. Let's go back to normal. Let's scroll down here. Make sure radius is set to 5. Our spacing, we're going to increase the spacing a little bit to 30. And there you go. We need to add a box shadow. You will see the effect of the box shadow very, very soon. But let's just go ahead and activate the box shadow. And what I have right here basically is going to be 0 for X, 0 for Y. The blur is 24. And there it is. You're actually beginning to see kind of like the effect right now with the box shadow, but you'll see a bit more of it once we add a background color to the main section. Okay, we're done with the media. Let's now jump down to the title. We're going to make some changes in here. First of all, the font size here will be 17 pixels. The font family, I'm actually going to go with a new one right here, which is going to be the Source Sans Pro. Not sure why. Okay, there it is, Source Sans Pro. Now the weight is going to be 400. The letter spacing, we're going to go to advanced typography. Click on the button right here for advanced typography, and then letter spacing will be 1.5. And there it is. And one last change here is going to be the color. So let's click on it. And the color I do have here is a shade of black, brownish black. It's going to be 50, 50, 50. And there it is. And we are done with the title. Cool. Let's close this. Let's come down here to content. We don't have a subtitle, so we don't need that one. Now, content, the font size, we're going to keep that one on 16 pixels. The font family, we're going to go with Source Sans Pro as well. And then the weight will be the same, 400. And then right here, where we have padding, I'm actually going to go ahead and add some padding for the text. So I'm going to go first of all with 20. And then let's go with 15 for the right, 15 for the bottom as well. And then for the left-hand side, we'll go with 0 for now. And we are done with the content. Next right now is going to be the background. Now check this out. For the background, we're actually going to add a white background color. I don't know if you can see well right here, but you would notice that the background of our info boxes is actually pure white. While the other background, the one for the main section, is kind of like a vanilla kind of color. You'll see that in just a second. Let's just go ahead and do this real quick. So the background color, I'm going to go with your regular color in here. And then the background color, fill color, we're going to go with the classic white, FFF, FFF, and voila. All right, I'm going to come down in here, add a box shadow as well. And what I have in here is going to be 1, 1, 2, and then 1. Last change we're going to make right here will be for the radius. Can you see right here the edges? You can see they're kind of a little bit circular, just a little bit. That's basically the border radius. So I'm going to come in here and I'm actually going to choose 6 is a bit too much. I'm going to choose 5. 5 is my border radius value. That is it. We don't have a button. We do have a button, but it's not a button for the info box. It's just a standalone button. And there it is. I'm going to go ahead now and update, change. Let's view the page and see what we have. And there it is. Okay, we're getting there. Now, the major change we're going to have to make right here is on our demo page right here, you can see that the background of our info boxes, it's very, very visible. You can see that the background is different from the main background of the entire section. Right here, it kind of blends in. You don't see the background of our info box because the color is this exact same as its own parent section. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go back in here and we're going to adjust the background color for the main section. And it's going to be the very first row that we added. So it's the one right here. Make sure you're clicking outside right here. You can see this is the main row right now, occupying or holding the services block as well as our info text block. We're going to come down here to background, right? And now for the background type, we're going to go with a gradient. So we have our two colors again. The first color in here is going to be F0, F0, F0. The second color will be pure white. So let's go with F, 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 press enter. And now the last time we're going to change is the gradient angle. We're just going to go all the way to 0. And there it is. I'm going to go back in here, update. Let's view the page, scroll down here, and there it is. Now you can actually see the background of our info box because we have adjusted the background color gradient of the main section, and that is pretty much it. Now the good news here is that we don't have to do the exact same thing for the remaining 3 info boxes. At this point, we're pretty much happy with the adjustments that we've made. We're very, very satisfied with the way our very first info box looks like, okay? So all we're gonna do is just to simply duplicate that box. Now to do that, we're gonna go back in here. Let's wait for the page to load, scroll down. Now check this out. I'm gonna click inside of the info box, okay? Make sure everything is highlighted in here. Go where you have your 3 buttons for options. And then just like that, duplicate. And there you go. Now we have the second info box for our first column. But how do we get one of these info boxes into the second column right here on the right? It's very, very, very easy. I'm going to go back in here. Once again, duplicate. So now we have 3. However, the third one, right here where you have the drag button, just click, hold, drag, and then just drop it inside here. Make sure you're right in where you have that plus button. And there you go. And then for our fourth and final info box, what are we going to do? Simply duplicate. And there it is. Let's go ahead now, update. View the page. Scroll down here. And that is it. Now, all I have to do at this point will just be to adjust the headline, the text, as well as the icons for the remaining 3 boxes. So I'm going to pause the video and do that right now. Welcome back, and as you can see right now, I have made the changes to the icons as well as the text for the remaining info boxes. Now, if you're interested in using the exact same symbols, I can tell you what they are. This one right here for web development is the code symbol. This one right here is the medal symbol, and then this one is going to be the lock symbol. One last thing we need to add is going to be the all services button. So let's just go ahead and do that real quick. Let's go back to edit the page. Let us scroll down all the way right here. And I'm going to click just directly underneath the second column in here. So we can now add the plus button for a new block. Click in there. And we're going to go with our button. And it's going to be all services. I'm just going to make a few changes in here. The style right here, the button URL / and then services. And then we have the design, the color right here. Let me just check my notes. It's a shade of purple. And from what I can see right here, it's going to be AD5 and then DDB. That is the shade of purple we're going to go with. We don't need a border color, so I'm going to clear that. However, once you hover on the button, it should change to a darker shade of purple. So let's do that. I'm going to go over to the hover section in here. Fill color, we're going to go with a darker shade of purple, which is going to be 6B1A9A. We don't need a border color as well. Let me just remove that one. And there it is. Last change is going to be for the typography itself. So let's turn on typography down here. And the font size is just going to be 17 pixels. And there you go. Let's go ahead now, update. Let us view the page. Update one more time. View the page. And there you go. That is it. Services section built. When the user clicks on the all services button, it takes them to our services page. So we are done with this video. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Let's move on to the next section, and here we're building the portfolio, and we do have 3 samples of our portfolio, and we have our image, we have the title, subtitle, some text, And we also have the view all button in here that should point to the portfolio page. Of course, we also have the portfolio headline up here as well. Let's jump right into it. I'm going to go all the way down here, click on the plus block to add our row. And then inside, of course, we'll choose the single column layout. And for the first one in here, I'm going to go ahead and add the headline for portfolio. So we'll click inside and then we'll add our heading and we'll just call this one portfolio. And just like before, we're going to go over here, right click on our services, copy the style, come down here to portfolio, right click again, and then simply paste the style. And just like before, we will have to fix the separator. I don't know why it's very stubborn. It refuses to copy over, but it's okay. We'll just switch that down to bottom. All right, next now, we're gonna add our 3-column row for the 3 portfolio samples. So we're gonna go over here, click on the plus button. Before we do that, let's just do the same thing we've done before regarding the row. So we'll just change the alignment to full width. Okay, very important. Now let's go back in here and we're gonna add the new block for our 3-column row. So I'm going to click on the plus button in here, go to row, and of course we're going to select our column layout, which would be 3 columns. Now right here we're looking for basically an image first of all, and then advanced text. Those will be the 2 blocks inside of each column. So for the first column in here, I'm going to click on the plus button right there. Let's add our image. We don't have an image block in here, so I'll go to browse all, and image should be right here. Okay, let's add that one. Now it's going to be the blob style, not the simple style, so we're going with blurb. So I'll click in there for the blurb. Let's come down in here to insert our image, and let me just confirm the image. So it's the one with the code on the screen. It's this one right here. Let's select that image. Let's come down here. Now for the URL, we do want the images to also point to the portfolio page. So we'll say / and then portfolio. All right, now the width, image height, opacity, all pretty standard. Radius, let's set this one to 5. 5 will be our radius. And then let's come down here to the title. So typography is on, font size is 38 pixels. That's fine, we'll keep that as it is. The subtitle, we don't actually have a subtitle, it's just basically the title. There is no subtitle, so we'll need to disable the subtitle. So right here, we're going to click on enable, we're going to turn it off so we don't have any subtitle. Let's come down here for the content. Actually, let me go ahead and add the code. So it's just basically a web dev. That's going to be the text. So let me just change that to web dev. Now, one thing we're going to have to do is right here, we'll have to enable the title reveal on hover, because by default, the title doesn't show. It's only when you now hover on the image, that's when the title now appears. Right now, by default, the title appears at all times. So we'll have to disable that. So right here, we'll enable the title reveal only on hover, and there it is. For the padding and the rest of that, we're going to keep that as it is. For the overlay, right here, for normal, we don't need any overlay, so we'll disable that one. However, for the hover, that's when we want to have an overlay. Right here, I'm going to switch from the gradient to just regular color, and then the fill color right here, I'm going to drag this one all the way again to red, and then this one just around here. Yeah, let's pick something a bit dark. And yeah, I think this is perfectly fine. I think that's okay. If you're interested in the RGB values, it's 41, 38, 38, and then 0.41. But again, as I've always said in previous videos, you can choose your own values if you want to. That is it for our image. The next thing we're going to do right now is we're going to add our text. But before we do that, let me introduce you to a new kind of block, which is the block wrapper. Now, the thing about the block wrapper is that we can add things like a background color add some opacity, add some padding and so on, just to make our text look a bit more attractive. So before we add the advanced text, let's add the block wrapper first. So right here, just underneath the image, I'm going to click on the plus button to add a new block. And let's search for block wrapper. It is the one right here. Let's choose that one. And now right here, you can see we have access to the block wrapper block. And then we can make changes to the block. Now, what I'm going to do right here is, first of all, the background color, we're going to change this to white. So click in there, FFF, FFF. Next up right here will be the padding. Let's switch from global values right here to individual values. And what I have right here is I have 5, I have 10 for the right side, I have 8 for the bottom, and then I have another 10 for the left hand side. Next will be the box shadow. We don't actually need a box shadow for the wrapper, so we'll go ahead and disable it. Okay, now we can add our advanced text inside of our block wrapper. So notice I'm clicking on the first plus button right here, not the one down here. We'll click in here. Now we can add our advanced text, the one right here. And I'm going to go ahead and just quickly grab this text real quick. Come right here. And I'll just delete. Oops, sorry about that. Come back here. Remove all the text and then simply paste. The title, I believe, should be Grocherich. Okay. Grocherich. All right. Now we're going to make some changes in here. You'll notice that there is a subtitle for each of the columns. So we have web development, security, and SEO. So we'll have to enable subtitles for our advanced text. Before we do that, let's jump over here to the style. Let's click in there. And now, first things first here is going to be the title. We do have the font size of 24 pixels. So we'll keep that as it is. In fact, we'll keep everything for the title. However, the subtitle down here, this is where we're going to now enable the subtitle. And we'll make some changes. Let me just add subtitle in here. Let me add web. Okay, it's web development. So web development. Make some changes to the font size here. We're going to make it just a little bit smaller. So we're going to make it 15 pixels. And then the font weight as well, make it 300 so that it's very, very light. Let's click on advanced typography and text transform. We'll go with capital. We could also have just typed everything in capital letters as well if we wanted to. That is it. Now for the spacing, we're going to make this one a little bit small. We're going to make that one 10 pixels. And then finally, for the color, I do have an actual shade I want to go with, and that's A0, A0, A0. So it's kind of like grayish dark in a way. So we'll keep that. And there it is. One last thing right here will just be to change the alignment to center. So everything is centered. And let's go ahead now and update. And let's take a look at what we have. Scroll down here. And not too bad. However, again, notice that we do have the background for each column kind of sticking out from the main background of the section. So once again, we're going to go back. And we're going to change the background color for the main row, just like we did in the previous video. So let's come down here, just click somewhere over here to highlight the entire row, go to background, and now background type is going to be gradient. For the first color, we have F0, 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 and then the second color in here, we have white, FFF, FFF. And then last change gradient angle is going to be 0. Let's go ahead now, update, view the page, go back down here, and voila. All right, so we're getting there. Just a few more things to add. You will notice that right here, there's plenty of padding inside of the column. So we're going to have to make those changes. So let's go back to edit page. And now check this out. I am going to choose the actual column, the main column right now holding the image, the block wrapper, and then the advanced text. So right here, where you have background color, we're going to add white. So it's going to be F, 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 F. We'll also add a box shadow as well for some effect. My values are going to be 1, 1, 2, and then 1. Radius, we're going to go with 5, just like before. So radius is 5. And then the last but not least, go over to advanced, and we're going to add some padding. So I'm going to go ahead now and add 7 for... Actually, before I do that, right here, to the right, you'll have this padlock, okay? Click on it, so that whatever value you add to any one of the sides, it will be universal. So we're looking for 7 pixels all across. And that's exactly what we are interested in. Let's go ahead now, update. Let's view the page. And then from here, let's scroll down, and there you go. So we have our first column all figured out. Now, you might be thinking for the next 2 columns, the ones for the security and SEO, it should just be a matter of us duplicating the first column and then simply adding that to the next 2 columns and simply changing the content. Unfortunately, it's not quite as easy as that. Now, I'm recording this lesson May 5th, 2021, and as of this time, there is no way to simply duplicate an entire column. Let me show you right here. If you chose the entire column and you go to the options button, you will only have the ability to copy, but you can't paste either. So how are we able to do this? Now, I'm going to show you, but it can get very, very messy. And let me just say that if you're running into any issues whatsoever, the best thing you can do is just build the next 2 columns from scratch. So you add your image, add your advanced text, change the design, and then save. That might just be the easiest thing for you to do. But let me show you how we could possibly go the shortcut route. Here's the thing. We can duplicate the blocks and then add them to the columns. However, I would recommend that you duplicate the block wrapper block first, not the image. I don't know why, but if you try duplicating the image first and then you drag and drop it inside of the second column, it will work. But then when you try to do the same for the block wrapper block, it's not going to work. But if you do the block wrapper first, it will work. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So you can see right now, block wrapper has been highlighted. So let's go ahead now and duplicate the block wrapper. So now we'll click drag and then drop it inside of our second column right there. Okay. Now we're going to go to our image, click on the image, and now duplicate, and now simply click drag and then drop. Now be very, very careful where you drop this. Try to drop it just above the title, the grocery title. Just try to drop it along there. And the reason why I say that is because if you drop it just slightly beneath, or just maybe a bit closer to the title, you might end up having the image inside of the block wrapper. And then you might have issues with the height and things like that. So if you try this and then you notice there are some issues with the way, with the heights especially, you will notice that the second column is a bit shorter than the first column. That might be because this image is actually inside of the block wrapper that we have for the advanced text. You can see right now that the block wrapper is separate from the image. Okay, so you can try that. Hopefully it will work for you. One thing we could also try right here. I'm sorry, actually that's not gonna work. I thought we could simply just copy the settings, the design settings for the column, and then simply dump it in here. That's not gonna work. So let's just quickly do this. I'm gonna go over here right now, change the background color to white for our column, and then we'll also add our box shadow as well. 1, 1, 2, 1. Those will be the settings. And then advanced, and then our padding, we're going with 7 pixels. Okay, let's go ahead now, update, and let's see how this will look like. Honestly, I'm not sure if this will work. And okay, so it almost worked, except that the second column is still shorter than the first column, but there is a trick. Let's go back. Let me show you what you could do right now. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the main row, the main parent row, holding all the blocks. So the one right here, the granddaddy row. Right here, you'll have the even column height option. Just check that. So that will force all the columns inside of the row to be of equal height. Update, view the page, go back down here, and there you go. Right now, we've been able to get the second column to look just like the first column. So again, hopefully it will work for you. It can be very, very messy. Unfortunately, Gutenberg is like that. If you run into any issues or you get frustrated, just simply create the column from scratch. I know it will take a bit longer, but you do have to get going with the course. So what I'm going to do right now is I'll pause the video, do the third column, and then also change the contents for the second and third columns, and I will resume the video once I am done. Welcome back, and as you can see right now, I've added the next two columns for Hyperarchitect and then our seller homes. So the last thing we need to do right now will just be to add the view all button that should point to the portfolio page. So let's just go ahead and do that real quick. Let's go to the back end, scroll down, and right here I'm going to go ahead now and add the new block, which will be for the button. Let's search for the button block. It's right there. And the text here will be view all. Let's go over to style. And we're going to go with the button URL right here, which should point to portfolio. Portfolio. Align to the center. The size, we're going to make a change to the padding. So we're going to go with the individual values. I have 11, I have 17, 11, and then 17 one more time. Let's scroll down in here to design, and we do have the orange color. The hexadecimal value is going to be F2961D. That is the orange variation, and then we don't need a border color, so I'll go ahead and clear that one, and we'll do the same for the hover button in here as well. The color for hover will be a darker shade of orange, which will be B9. All right, so it's B9 and then 6C07. Let's also remove the border color in there as well, and there you go. I'm gonna go ahead now to update. Let's view the page, scroll down, and there you go. We now have our view all button, just like what we have over here. Actually, we need to make one slight change. There seems to be a border for this button. Let me just quickly fix that one. So let's go back to edit page. Let's come down here to view all, style. Let's go over to design. What do we have here? Oh, border width. We don't want any border width at all. So make this one 0. So your border width should be 0, and that should fix that. All right, let me update. View the page, make sure it looks exactly like it should. And there you go. So we have a view all button, and that is it for the portfolio section. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Let's continue with the homepage by adding the testimonials section. And this is what we are trying to accomplish. However, before we do this, I was just going through the work we've done so far, and I realized that we do have two things we need to fix in the who we are section. Right here with the image, the web coders and then the tagline, this should only be displayed when we hover on the image, and then the button, the Mail Our Team button, has a border. I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. So we need to fix these two things. Now, these happens all the time whenever you're building websites. It happens. You'll forget about something that you should have fixed. This is why it's very, very important for you to just go through what you've done so far. So let's quickly fix these two things real quick. So I'm going to go over to the back end. And then right here, let's go over to our image. First of all, I'm going to go over to the content area down here, content. And then right here, we'll just choose the title reveal on hover, and then that will take care of the tagline as well. So now that works. Let's go over to the Meet Our Team button. I'll go to style, come down here to design, and then for the border width, we're just going to make that on 0, and there it is. Let me just go ahead, update. Let's view the page, make sure the changes have taken effect, And there it is. Okay, let's now move on to the testimonial section. And here's the thing. What we're going to build will look like this, but it's not going to be quite the same. The reason is that when I built this section initially, I used the testimonials blog provided by Kubely. Unfortunately, in the past week or so, there has been a bug with the plugin where when you add the avatar image, it doesn't display. I don't know what the issue is, but thankfully we do have an alternative provided by the Ultimate Add-ons plugin. So let's go ahead and use that one instead. And we'll come all the way down here. So let's go ahead now and add our row. We're going to go with the one column. Let's click inside again to add our heading, which will be testimonials. So testimonials. And then just like before, we're going to go right here to portfolio, right click, copy the style, come back down here, click on testimonials, right click, paste the style, go over to style, go to separator, and then switch the position to bottom. All right, next we're going to add another row again, which will now be 3 columns. And now for the first column, we're going to click inside twice, and let's search for testimonial. Now here is the one we're going to choose. It is the second one. The first one here is by Kubely, which of course has the bug. We'll go ahead with the second one provided by the Ultimate Add-ons. And there it is. All right, so by default, you're going to have some text, the name, John Doe, company, and so on. Right here, first of all, on the general number of testimonials, we're going to go with 1. All right, so it's just 1 testimonial, 1 column. For the carousel, let's just go ahead and disable all of this. We're not going to work with the carousel anyways. So let's disable that. Now for the first one, we're going to go with the image. Select the very first image right here, and that's going to be the one for Colleen. I believe that's her name. And I'm going to change her name right here to Colleen. Colleen, and then Maynard will be her name. Company right here, we'll just call this one Lab Cyber. And there it is. All right, now for the actual testimonial itself, I'm going to keep it as it is. I'm not going to change it. You can change your own testimonial if you want, but I'll keep mine as it is. I will make a change here though, and that would be to put the image right next to the actual testimonial. I think it looks better that way. So to do that, right here where you have image position, I'm going to choose left. All right, so let's update and let's take a look at what we have right here. Scroll down, and there it is. Okay, so we do have the testimonial. There are a few things that we can change in here. For example, we can make the image maybe just a bit bigger, and then we also need to get rid of this arrow right here. Very, very annoying. Let's see. Let's go back to edit page, and then scroll down here. And let's go back to our testimonial. Okay, right here where you have image, we're going to make it a bit bigger. So instead of 60, let's go all the way to 75. All right, we might still change it, but let's keep it at 75 for now. Now, there is that arrow right there being displayed. So let's see if we can disable the arrow somehow. Right here, it says both arrows and dots. Let's go with only arrows, and then arrow size 0. Arrow border size 0, so nothing at all. Let's now update. Let's view the page, and hopefully that should work. Scroll down, and there it is. Okay, looking much better now. A slightly bigger image. We have the testimonial, her name, and then the name of the company as well. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pause the video and simply create the other 2 testimonials, which of course I will do. And here it is. So I've added the other 2 testimonials, one by Mike Johnson of ABC Solutions and the other by Adam West of Gotham Inc. A few things to point out for you. If you try duplicating the testimonials, duplicating the first one and then simply adding that one to the second column and third column, you might be shocked. If you try changing the image, you might discover that the image gets changed across all 3 testimonials. So just to save yourself any trouble or any issues, just go ahead and recreate the testimonials from scratch. It won't take you more than 3 minutes to do them. And one more thing to point out is that if you use the exact same text, the same default text, you might notice that the third column is actually a bit shorter or a bit narrower than the first 2 columns. The reason is because the actual width of the third column is just slightly longer or slightly wider than the first two columns. Let me show you what I'm talking about in here. So if you go back to the back end and then you scroll down, if you choose the first column in here as an example, right, you would notice the width is 33.3%, 33. The same with the second column as well, 33.33. But then the last column is actually 33.34%. So it's going to be a little bit wider, and as a result, the content will appear shorter or not quite as tall as the other two columns. So in order to fix that issue, you can just get very, very creative. What I simply did was to add some extra text, which was the one down here, which is the highly recommended to everyone. I just added to everyone so that it has the exact same 6 lines like the other two testimonials. So that's one way to think like a like a web developer. So that's it for the testimonials section. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next section. Let's continue now with adding the clients section to our homepage. And of course, this is a very, very popular section that you would find on business websites, clients and the testimonial section, which we talked about earlier. So in here, it's pretty straightforward. We do have a 3-column row, and then each column actually has 2 info boxes. So we're going to be using info boxes again in here. Let's go ahead now and get that done. I'm going to come all the way down here, and as usual, we're going to add our row. First of all, we'll choose one column. Once again, add the headline. So let's go to browse all. Where is my header? Heading right here. And we're going to call this one clients. Clients, and then again, let's just go ahead and quickly grab the style for our header. Come over here, right click, paste the style, go to style, and then change the separator to bottom. All right, next up right now would be to add our row once again, but now we're going to go with the 3 columns. And so for the first one in here, let's just go ahead and add our info box. Now, the slight difference here is that as opposed to the first time when we used icons like what we have in here, we're going to use an image instead because we want to use the logos of the companies. So right here on the right, we're going to stick with the first layout 1, but then down here where you have media, we're going to go with an image. So right here, so switch from icon to image. And so for the first image, I'm going to go to insert, and it's going to be the one for Wild Rock. So let's select that, and there it is. Now by default, you're going to get 600 pixels for the image width, which is a bit too wide. So I'm going to bring this down all the way to 240 pixels. So the logo is not too big, it's not stretched, and it looks fine. And all we have to do right now is just to add the based in San Diego and then the portfolio. We can use the first one here as our header, and then portfolio would be the subtitle. So let's do this. I'm going to go back in here. Let's jump up here where we have media. So let me just come down here to content, and we're going to disable the show content. We don't need that one. Let's go right now to title. Actually, let me just change the title real quick to based in San Diego, California. Let me just grab that text, come right in here, and then paste that. However, I'm going to remove the San Diego. I don't think we need that one. I think California, USA is fine. All right, based in California, USA, we're going to make a few changes right now to the text. We're going to make it 16 pixels. I know you don't see the size decrease. That's maybe another bug with Qubly, I'm not sure. But we're going to make it 16 pixels. Weight will be 400 so that it's not too bold. And that will be it for our header. Now, we're going to come down here to subtitle and then enable the subtitle. So we can now say our portfolio, and that's going to be our national because it's within the US. So I'm going to scroll back down in here. Let's make some changes to the font size, and we can make this one 15 pixels, and then font weight will also be 400. Let's actually change the color as well. I do have an interesting shade right here, which is 818181. let's do the same for the title as well. Let's just change the color to 818181, and there it is. Let's go ahead now, update, and let's see how this looks like. Update, view the page. Let's scroll down here, and there it is. All right, so we have a very first client, Wild Rock, based in California, United States. Portfolio is national. The one thing that I want to change right here would be the alignment of the text. You can see right here that it's actually aligned more to the center. And of course, we also have to reduce the space between clients and the actual logo. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to go back to edit page. Let's take care of the alignment first. Let's scroll down here to our clients. Let's go to the text. And right here, alignment, we're just going to go with middle. And there it is. That's all we basically need to do. Now, for the spacing between the clients and the logos, right here, you can see we have 70 pixels again, which is added by default by Gutenberg. So we're going to click inside in here. We're going to go to advanced, and then right where you have padding, we're going to bring this down all the way to 20 pixels. Okay, I think that should be fine. Let's go ahead now to update. Let us view the page one more time. Scroll down here, and there it is, looking much better. One last thing to do would just be to reduce the space between the header and the logo. So let's just do that real quick. Let's go back one more time, and then let's scroll down here. So we're going to target the actual media block. So right here you have the media. Down here where you have our spacing, we're going to bring this down to 10. So let's just reduce that to 10. Update one more time. And now let's just view the page and check out the new spacing. And there it is. There it is, looking much better. So all I'm going to do right now is just to simply duplicate and add the remaining 5 logos. I will see you shortly. Welcome back, and as you can see, I've added the remaining 5 logos. All I did was just basically duplicate and then paste and then simply change the information. So don't forget to change the location as well as the portfolio designation as well if you're adding the clients section. So that's it. We're almost done with the home page. We just now need to add the contact form, which we'll do so in the very next video. I'll see you then. Welcome back. The last thing we need to add to our home page is going to be the contact form, which is what we have right here. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'm going to jump in here, add first of all our row, again, column. Let's add the heading as usual, and then we'll call this one contact us. Contact us, and then I will do the usual, right clicking, copy style, come back down here, paste the style, go to style, separator, and then position bottom. All right, next up right now would be the contact form block. So we'll click on the plus button in here, and let's search for contact. Contact form is the one right here. Let me choose that one. So here's the thing, you can choose from 2 different types of styles. You have the classic style, and then you have the material style, which actually isn't that bad. It's a very interesting design concept, but I'm going to go with the more familiar classic style. And we have all the fields we need. You have your full name, email, subject, as well as the message fields, everything that we need. However, I don't know about you, but me personally, I don't like displaying both the placeholder as well as the labels. I think that's kind of like too much information. You either display the labels of the fields or you display the placeholder. So in this case right now, I'm going to display only the placeholder. So how do we do this? You will click on the field first of all. So when you click on the field right here, I've clicked on full name. We will now have access to the settings in here. So we have label is full name, name is full name. Down here, we can now choose to hide the label, which I will now do. So I'll hide the label. I'll do the same for email as well. Hide the label, click on subject, hide the label, and then finally hide the label for the message. And that is it. Let's make a very quick change to the button down here. So let's come down here to button, and we're going to stick with the fill. And then, what am I doing here? And then the size, we are going to go with the custom, And then right here, we're going to switch the padding to default values of, let me check. I do have 11 and 11, 17, and then 11 again, and then 17 for the last one. So that's it for the padding. Let's scroll down in here as well. We're going to go over to the design. Our text color right here, we're going to go with pure white for the text color. So FFF. And then for the background color, I do have my value in here to be 2184. And then F9. That's going to be the color. And let's scroll down in here. For the radius is 4. We'll leave that as it is. And then for typography, we'll go ahead and activate typography as well. Basically, we're going to come down here to advanced typography and make sure that it is in capital letters. Let's just add a different shade of blue for the hover effect. So we'll go over here to hover, and then the fill color for our hover is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be 105 and then CB8. And there it is. I'm going to remove the border color. I don't think we need that. Let's go ahead now and update. And let's take a look. Let's view the page. And one thing you will notice instantly is right here, the contact form is kind of wide. It's very, very wide. We want something a bit more compact, like what we have right here. So we're going to have to make that one compact. We'll also have to add the headline in here. Use the contact form below to get in touch with us, and we'll get back to you. So let's just go ahead and copy this text, and let's add that. So let's go back to edit page. And let's first of all add the text just beneath the title. So right down here. All right, I'm going to click inside one more time. Let's now add a new block. And what we're going to add in here would actually be the text. So I'm going to click on browse all, and we'll just go with advanced text. Let's remove the header. We don't need it. Now in here, I'm going to paste the text I just copied. And there you go. So the only thing we'll have to do right here is just the style, where we'll go with the align center. Now to make the contact form a bit more compact, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the parent row, which is basically the very first row that we added. So it's right here. You can see this is the row right here. We're going to go over to the alignment, and we're going to make it full width. Okay, by doing that, we'll now have access to the container width section in here, and we're going to bring this down to 700 pixels. Let's go ahead now, update. Let's view the page, scroll down, and there you go. That is it for the contact us section, and voila, we're pretty much done. Perhaps maybe, just maybe, it might look better if you have the submit button in the center, right? Let's try that one. Okay, let's just make the button in the center. I like making all these last minute changes for one reason or the other. So let's just come down here, click on the button, go to button and align to the center. Let's also try to reduce the space between our sections. Okay, so you can see right now we still have the default 70 pixels between the clients and the contact us section. That's a bit too much. So let's click on 70 right here, go to advanced, make this one 40. All right, so we have less padding, 40 pixels. And then let's do the same in here for the clients in here as well. Click on the 70 up in there, go to advanced, and then we're going to make this one 40 pixels. And there it is. Just to reduce the amount of space between our sections is a bit too much. Okay, let's go ahead and view the page one more time and scroll down here. And there it is. Actually, I think the submit button looks a bit better in the center of the screen. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching the video. Join me in the very next one, where we'll now take a look at adding our anchor link. I'll see you then. Welcome back. So we're pretty much done with the home page. However, there is one last thing we need to do, and that is the anchor link that we created much earlier, and it's the one right here. Remember that we added the hashtag services as the link for the see our services button. However, when we click on it, nothing actually happens. But what is supposed to happen? Well, over here on the model side, when you click on see our services, it scrolls down to the section on the homepage where we have the services section. So we need to get that done. So let's go ahead now and make some very quick changes. Let's go to edit page. And just to give you a quick recap, remember right here for the CR services, if we go to style, right here for the URL, it says hashtag services. All right. This is the anchor. Now, in order for it to point to the services section, we'll have to go down to the services section. Let's choose the main role, like that is the parent role occupying the entire area. Come down here to advanced, and then where you have the CSS ID, add services. And there it is. That is the anchor. Let's go ahead now, update. Let's view the page. And now let's see, when we click on CR services, boom, it takes us straight down to the services section. However, did you notice that it's very sudden? Like you click on the button and boom, it takes you straight down to the services section. Right here, it's very smooth. You click on CR services and now the page just scrolls smoothly down. How do we achieve that effect? We're going to make use of some CSS code, and it's kind of like a cheat code. You can use this on many other types of websites. What you simply need to do right now is to go to the customize area, and we're going to add this CSS code to our additional CSS section. And it's going to be the one down here where you have custom CSS.js. Just click in there, and now you can paste this code right there. So it says smooth scroll, and then HTML, and then this will be the property scroll behavior, and the value is going to be smooth. Basically, we're saying, hey, anywhere on our website, whenever there is a scroll behavior, make it smooth. So let's go ahead now, publish. Let's close this, and let's just go ahead now, test it out, see our services, and there you go. Now we've got the smooth scrolling effect on our anchor link. Thank you so much for watching. Join the next video where we'll now take a look at adding the footer for our website. Welcome back. So now let's add the footer to our website. And to do this, we're going to add a menu. First of all, we'll have a contact section or a contact widget, and then we'll also have the social media icons as well. So let's do this. First of all, I'm going to go over to the menus, and we're going to build ourselves a custom menu specifically for the footer. So right here, I'm going to click on create menu, and I'm going to say footer menu right there. Go ahead and create the menu, and let's just add like 3 links in there. So we'll go with contact, pricing, services. Let's add that to the menu, and let's just put contact over here. All right, let's save that. And now we're going to come down to appearance and then widgets right here. Now, by default, with the Ocean WP theme we're using, we have access to 4 sidebars in our footer, but we're going to make use of just 3. So for footer 1 right here, let's go ahead now and add the custom menu we just created. So I'll drag the custom menu widget in here, and we can title it additional links, and we'll select the footer menu right there. Scroll down, anything else to change? Text transform, let's go with uppercase. Let's save that. Next, we're going to use the contact info widget, which is the one right here. So let's drag that one to footer number 2. And in here, we're going to remove the text. We don't need that one. And then we'll also get rid of like mobile. Let's get rid of all of these. Let's get rid of fax as well, email, all of this stuff. So the only thing that should show up would be our address and then our phone number. So let's go ahead and remove all of this stuff. We don't need that. Double check that everything has been removed except phone and address. That's okay. Let's go ahead now, save. And then last but not least, we do have the social icons for footer number 3, and it's the one right here, social icons. Click drag, let's drop that in there. And we're gonna say follow us, and let's scroll down. Let's add for Twitter, for Facebook, for Instagram, and also for LinkedIn as well. Let's go ahead now, save the menu, and let's take a look at what we have. Or rather, save the widget, rather, not the menu. Let's scroll down here, and there you go. Okay, now you will see we still have some additional space to the right. That's because Ocean WP theme is making space for the 4th sidebar, which we're not going to make use of. So how do we remove the unnecessary sidebar? We're going to go over here to customize. And from here, we can customize the way the footer is going to look like. So we're going to come down here to the footer widgets, just down here. Open up. Okay, so right here, you will see columns is set to 4. Just change that to 3, and that should change everything. So you scroll down in here, and now you can see there is no more space for the 4th sidebar. We're also going to add some effects like making it a fixed footer. This will ensure that the footer is always at the footer because it's going to have itself a height. We can also add the parallax footer effect. Let me show you what that does. Right now you can see that the footer scrolls up and scrolls down normally, but when you add the parallax effect, you now have this kind of very, very interesting effect where you can see the footer is already there, and it's like when you're scrolling down, the rest of the content is like pulling up to expose the footer. Do you see that? That's basically the parallax effect. It's a pretty cool effect, so we'll keep that. And that is it. All right, one more thing to change. Let me go back. Would be the footer bottom. So right here, we can customize the information in here. So we can just say copyright, and I'm going to say web coders 2021 or whatever, something like that. Or actually, let me just make this one space. So it's web coders, copyright web coders 2021. And let's go ahead now and publish this. And let us see what we have. I'm going to go ahead now to scroll all the way down here. And voila, there you go. Now, in case you're interested for additional design, you can customize the color of the text, things like that. To do that, you can simply go back to customize. And then what you will simply do is you'll look for the typography section, which is the one right here, typography. You click in there. And then from here, down here, you will have your footer copyright. So for example, you can click in there. Let me just scroll all the way down here to show you. So for the copyright text in here, we can actually increase this one to, let's say, 14 pixels, make it a bit bigger. So now you can see it's bigger right there. And of course, you can also do things like change the font family, the font weight, text transform. You can do the exact same thing for the footer menu as well. You can change the font weight, the font style, increase the line height, the size of the text as well. And that is pretty much it. So thank you so much for watching. We've successfully built out the footer. I will see you in the next video. All right, so now that we're done building the home page, it is now time to focus on the rest of our pages. And the good news here is that the hard work has been done already. Typically, the home page is usually the most difficult, while the other pages are a lot easier to work with. Now, let's first of all target the services page, and we do have one issue that we need to tackle immediately, and that is the fact that the header actually by default has a white background. Now, we were able to get away with the header on the home page because we used a background image, and we also made the header transparent specifically for the home page. We could try the same thing for the other pages, but to make things a lot easier, rather than us having to use a background image, we'll just change the background color for the header. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over to the services page again. Let's now go to customize. And the wonderful thing about the WP Ocean theme we're using is the fact that you can modify just about anything, and changing the background color of our header is no exception. So right here, you're going to come down here to your header, and then you go to general, and then right here where you have background color, Let's just click inside, and now we can choose a particular background color that we want to go with. Now, for the purposes of this lesson, I'm just going to stick with the default blue color in here, which is 1E73BE. Of course, you can use a different background color if you prefer. I'm going to go ahead now and hit publish. And voila. Okay, now let's go over to the services page. I'm going to edit the page right now. And we're going to come down here. First of all, content layout, we're going to go with 100% full width. And then where you have the title right here, we're going to disable the page title. We do not need it. Now, at this point, we are going to cheat a little bit. Now, what exactly do I mean? Let me just first of all update this page, all right? See, the thing is, we've already sort of built part of the services page already in the home page right here. You see, this is part of the services page. We're going to list web design, web development, web security, SEO, and a few other services. Now, here's the thing. Rather than us having to rebuild this blocks all over again, we can just save this entire section as a reusable block. This is a feature available with Gutenberg. So check this out. I'm going to go ahead now and edit the page. And we're going to select the services row down here. Okay. Now, notice I am selecting the entire row, which contains, of course, the title services, the 4 services, and then also the all services button as well. We're copying the entire row. So right here, I'm going to go ahead now and hit the options button. And then right here, you have the option add to reusable blocks. I'm going to go ahead now, click inside, and there it is. Now, by default, you will have the untitled reusable block. If you try to name it from here, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why that is the case. However, here's the thing. If you go to your backend proper, and then you come down here to your settings, and then you see UAG, that's for the ultimate add-on blocks for Gutenberg. You click inside. Right here, you will see the reusable blocks. Okay, just click inside there. And now you will see the block that we've just added as a reusable block. So right now, I can go ahead now, click on edit, and we can change the name from here. So let's edit the block. And now from here, I'll just call this one the services block. All right, I'm going to go ahead now and update the block. And there it is. Now let's go back to the services page. All pages, services, edit. And okay, so how do we now add the reusable block? You simply click on the plus button to add your regular block. Go to browse all. And then right here, you go to reusable. And then now you will see the service block. You simply click on it. And there you go. Now, here's the thing though. I need to draw your attention to a particular bug that currently exists with Kubely. Now, I am recording this video May 16th, 2021. And actually, I do think it's a bug with Gutenberg itself. Whenever you're trying to work with reusable blocks, when you add them to your page and you edit them and you try to update your page, it will not update. It's just going to keep on saying updating, and it never finishes. I've gone on the internet and I've discovered that it's actually a bug. Hopefully, by the time you're taking this course, the bug issue will have been fixed. Now, thankfully, after spending several hours trying to figure out a solution to this problem, I have been able to come up with a workaround. So here's exactly what you want to do. First of all, you click on the preview tab right here and you preview in the new tab. I want to do this to show you one issue first of all. See, even if there was no bug, this is actually how your page would look like if you just add your reusable block and then you save. It's not going to look great. The first thing you want to do is to convert your reusable block to regular blocks. So right here where you have your services block, you will see this button right here that says convert to regular blocks. Now you click in there. Now Gutenberg will transform the reusable blocks to your regular blocks. Now if you go back to now preview you will now see it actually looks good. Now, there you go. So the ideal process is for you to first of all convert to regular blocks, and then you can update. Now, because of the bug, we had to preview the page first. And now that the preview page is still open, don't close it. Go back to your regular page. Now go over to update. You will see this. Uncheck the reusable block. Because if this is checked, what this will do is that if you make any edits to the reusable block from now, it will simply affect the reusable block everywhere on your site. Basically, it's going to globally save the changes to your blog, but we only want to make these changes to this specific page. So I'm going to uncheck this box, and now we can go ahead now and save, and there you go. So for a second, I was actually afraid that it was not going to update. Honestly, it's been like that for such a long time now. Okay, so we successfully added our reusable block, and all I need to do right now is just to add 4 more blocks to the current section, and it's very, very easy from here. I'm just going to click on any one of the blocks right here, go to the options, and I can duplicate. Let me go over here once again, duplicate another one. I'll do the same for the second column, duplicate, and then come down here and then duplicate one more time. And all I will need to do right now is just to change the icons as well as change the text of the boxes. I'm going to pause the video and resume once I have done that. Welcome back, and as you can see, I have edited the 4 duplicate blocks. I've added mobile app development, cloud data backup, product and market research, and then enterprise and CRM platforms. I'm going to go ahead now to update the page, save, and now if you view the page, this is exactly what we have, and there you go. The only thing I need to change right now is going to be the block right here. Let's change all services to point to the pricing page. So let's go ahead and quickly make that last change. Let's come down here, go to all services. Let's change the text in here to say see our pricing. And what I'm going to do is to change the link and also change the background color as well. So let's go to style. So right here for the button URL, we'll change that to pricing so that it goes to the pricing page. And then we'll come down here to design, go to the background color in here, and we'll just choose this light blue color. Let's go ahead now, update, view the page one more time. And voila, you click on see our pricing, and of course it goes to the pricing page. And oops, we forgot to make one change, and that is the hover effect on the button. Let's quickly change that real quick. Let's go back, come down here, see our pricing, go back to style, go to design. All right, switch over to hover, come over here, and we'll go with this shade of blue. And let's also remove the border color as well. So if we switch back to normal, right here, we're going to change the border width from 1 to 0 so it has no border. Update one last time, view the page, scroll down here, and there you go. So that's it for the services page. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. The next page we're building is the team page, and this is an example of what we're trying to accomplish. It's going to be a very simple, clean design. Basically, we'll have 2 rows with 4 columns each, and then each team member will have their image, their name, their designation or title, and then links to their social media profiles. So let me go ahead and close this. Let's go over to our team page, and let's do the usual, disable the page title. Go over here to main, change default to 100% full width. Okay. Now, we've been using the Qubly blocks for quite a lot in this course. In fact, it's practically the only add-on we've used so far. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to introduce the blocks added by the Ultimate Add-ons Gutenberg plugin. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to give you as much variety as possible and expose you to as many add-ons and options when it comes to working with Gutenberg. So let's go ahead now and add a block. And the very first one we're going to add would be the section block with the ultimate add-ons right here. And it's actually a very, very cool block because it allows you to add a custom width, and you can even add like an auto wrapper to it as well. Let's choose section, and now in here I'm going to add the plus button, and let's use the good old Kubely heading block because we're already so used to it. So I'll just choose the heading right here and then change this, of course, to team. So it's team, and then we'll go over here to style, align to the center, go to heading, font size of 34 pixels, weight of 300, and of course we have the separator. Select, we'll go with line, and then the color right here, we'll go with this one, and of course the position is going to be bottom. Okay, now we're going to make use of the theme block provided by Ultimate Add-ons. I'm going to click inside. Actually, before we do that, we need to add our columns because it's 4 columns, remember? So I'm going to click on Browse All, go back again down here to Ultimate Add-ons, and the block you're looking for is the one right here called the Advanced Columns. I'm going to click inside, and now we can choose the variation. We're going with the one for 4 columns, so I'm going to choose that one. And okay, it went above the theme, but that's fine. We'll just click on the arrow down here to move it down, and there you go. Okay, now let's click inside the very first column, click on the block right there, go to Browse All, and then let's scroll down here to add the theme block, and it's the one right here. Let's click inside, and there you go. Now Kubely also has its own theme block as well, and it's a bit more sophisticated. However, in my humble opinion, I think that the one for Ultimate Add-ons is actually easier to work with. So let's just go ahead and make the very, very quick changes in here. Mac Johnson is going to be the CEO, and let's just grab some lorem ipsum text in here. Let's grab that copy, come right here, and of course I'll just go ahead and remove the text and then paste the text. Okay, now over here to the right we can add the image, and who do we choose? Okay, let's just choose this guy right here. Smiling, looking very, very happy. Let's go ahead and select him. So that's Mac Johnson. All right, position is going to be above. We can make that left, right. We'll keep it on above. Image style is going to be circle. And then the width right here, let's go all the way to 175 pixels. Okay, that's for the image. And then social links, they're enabled by default. We don't want Pinterest, so I'm just going to go right here to Pinterest and then remove the icon, so no more Pinterest. And now if you like to add the actual links for the social media, just click on Twitter. Right here you'll have the URL, you add it in there, and then you do the same for Facebook and LinkedIn as well. Okay, social links done. Typography, we're going to keep the title tag as an H3. Now the actual title itself, let's just make a few changes in here. I'm going to go with the Open Sans for the font family, and then the font weight, let's go with 400. I think 800 was a bit too thick, and there it is. Okay, we're done with the typography. And then you've got color settings in here as well. You've got spacing for paddings and margins and things like that, but we'll leave that as it is. Let's go ahead now to update. Let's view the page, and there you go. Not bad. Team, and then we've got Mark Johnson, CEO, a short description, and then social media icons. So all we need to do right now is just basically to duplicate, and let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click on edit page. However, I need to point out one thing. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to actually just duplicate and then copy and drag, because check this out. If I click on the block right now and I went ahead to duplicate, if I try to drag the duplicate inside any one of these columns, let's say right here, what happens is it's not going to paste. It's actually going to go to another row. So how do we solve this issue? What is the workaround? Well, what you need to do is to first of all click inside the column that you want to paste it in and add a separate block. So I'm going to click on the add block in here, and we'll just go with the info box. Okay, just as an example. But now that we have content inside of this column, you will see the plus button right here is available. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go ahead and drag this guy down here inside, and there you go. So now, because we already had content previously inside of the column, it will now accept any other content that we drag into the column. So now we can just go ahead and click inside the info box, and then just simply go ahead and remove the block, and there it is. So now I'm going to make a very quick change to Mark Johnson. Let's change his name to Mary Jones. Let's replace the image. Who's going to be Mary Jones? Okay, this is Mary Jones right here. And we'll call her the COO. And we'll just keep the exact same biography and then the same social media icons as well. So let me go ahead now, update one more time. Let's view our page. And there it is. There you go. So what I'm going to do right now is to simply pause the video and add the remaining team members. Welcome back, and as you can see, I've added the remaining team members, and it doesn't look that great. The truth is, we need to make the spacing around the columns a bit wider. So there is something we can do about that, and we also need to change the team title. My apologies, the font size is supposed to be actually 44 pixels and not 34 pixels. But before we do that, I want you to notice one thing, and that is the amount of space between the first row and the second row. That's because I added some extra margins to the individual columns. Let me show you what I did. Let's go back to the back end. And right here, so when you choose one of your columns in the second row, right here, you go over to spacing, and then right here where you have the image margin, you will have 15 pixels by default. Set that to 50, and that will give you more space between your first row and your second row. Do that for all 4 columns in your second row. Okay, let's go ahead and make the quick changes. I'm going to click on the team title, go to style, heading, and we'll make this one 44 pixels real quick. Now, to increase the width of the section, we're going to click in here to highlight the section. Right here where you have width, I'm going to go all the way to 1240 pixels. Trust me, this will make our team page look so much better. And then we also need to add some spacing between the team title and then our header. So I'll go over to spacing, and we'll just make this one 80 pixels for consistency, and then bottom as well, 80 pixels. And there it is. Let's go ahead now, update. Let's view the page, and voila, there you go. That is the team page all designed, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Jump into the next one where we'll now build out the portfolio page. So now let's take a look at how we can build the portfolio page, and I was going to show you step by step, but I've decided to change my mind and make this one an assignment. The reason is because it's actually very easy. Here is the page that you should try to build. So you'll have your page title as usual. You'll have 2 rows, 3 columns in each, and you'll have the content right here. It's very similar to what we did in the homepage. Remember when we built out the portfolio section? It's basically the entire process. So let us go ahead now and edit the page. And one thing you could do is you could also try using the reusable blocks method. You could try that, but let me just give you the back end preview. So basically, you would make the usual 100% page full width. You disable the page title, add your own title of portfolio right here, and then for the actual content, you're going to make use of the blob image style. Make whatever changes that you need to do so, and then of course you would add the advanced text, but please also add the block wrapper. Remember, while building the portfolio section for the homepage, we did use the block wrapper. So do the exact same thing inside of the block wrapper, add your advanced text, and make whatever changes that you need to do. I'm pretty sure you will be able to build this page out. Just simply follow the exact same steps that we did for the homepage portfolio section, or like I said earlier, you could also make use of the reusable blocks with Gutenberg. Good luck. Let's now take a look at the pricing page, and this is what we're trying to accomplish. So basically, we'll have the usual page title, we'll have some advanced text in here, And then we'll have a row with 3 columns, each column containing a package that will have its name, price, the features available, as well as the choose button at the end. I have already gone ahead to do the usual 100% page full with disable page title. I've also added the pricing title in here as well. Let's go ahead and first of all add this text by making use of the advanced text. Now be careful, don't click on the plus button down here because this will be for a separate row. We're going to click inside the current pricing row right here and then click on this plus button. So always make sure you're adding your contents inside of your rows. So I'm going to go ahead now, click on the plus button to add our block, and we're looking for the advanced text with Qubely. It's basically the third block. Let's choose that one, and then we'll remove the title. And oops, it actually went above the pricing header. Let's click down. All right, and now I'll just go ahead, remove the default text and add the text I copied. We'll go over to style, align to the center. Now for the text, I'm going to make a few changes in here. We're going to go with 16 pixels, and then font family will be Open Sans. So Open Sans, and then the weight will be 300. Okay, now for the actual packages, we're going to add now a row. All right, and we're going to go with the 3 columns right here. And inside of the first column, we're basically looking for the price and block with Qubely. You'll find it down here, right next to team and timeline. Let's choose pricing, and there it is. Okay, so first things first is let's just change the title immediately. So from basic, I'm gonna go with agency package, and then the subtitle in here, best choice for individuals. We don't need that one. I'll just go ahead and remove it. We don't need a teaser. The price in here, let me check my records. It's 1,495. Don't ask me how I came up with that number. It's just what it is. Okay, now before we take a look at how you can add like features and so on, let's do some design over here to the right. So the first thing we want to do is we want to change the layout. So we're going to go actually with layout 1 right here. Okay, so actually layout 1 doesn't even have the subtitle or the teaser, so we didn't even need to delete that, but it's okay. So layout 1 will have the name, the price. Now the per month here that you see is enabled by default. So to disable it, we're going to come all the way down here where you have duration. Okay, so you go to duration, and basically by default it says per month, and we don't need it. So I'm just going to go ahead and disable the duration, but just know that you have that feature available should in case you need to make use of it. Okay, let's get started. So first things first, here is going to be the title, and I do have my color in here for my title. It's going to be let me just show you 333. That is my shade of black I'm going to go with. And of course, we're going to make some changes to the font size as well. Let's go with 16 pixels. Font family is going to be Open Sans. The font weight is going to be 400. So just a little bit bold. And there it is. Okay, now that's for the title. Let's now come down to price. Now for price, I do have an actual shade of blue that I would like to go with, and that's 338 FEC. That's the shade of blue that I do like. For the font size, 70 pixels is a little bit too big, so we're going to bring this down to 44 pixels. Font family will be Open Sans as well, and the weight here is going to be 600. We're going to make this a little bit thicker than the others. All right, that's it for the price. Now for the currency. So by default, it is the US dollar, but you do have, euros, pound sterlings, and rupees as well, if you are from India. All right, for the color, we're going to go with the same blue color, 338, and then FEC. And then we'll do the usual font size in here. Let's go with 38 pixels. All right, let's scroll down. Font family. We're keeping it consistent with Open Sans, and the weight is going to be 600 as well. Now here's the thing though, you see the alignment, it is not aligned properly. So we're going to bring this down to, I think -2 looks okay. Actually, in my books right here, I do have -4, but I think -4 is a bit out of order. We'll go with -2 for now. If we need to make a change, we'll make the change later. Okay, so that's it for the currency. Let's now come down to background. So by default, you do have the fill color set to white. I don't think we need to change that, so we'll just leave that as it is. Now, for the border color, we don't need any border, so we'll clear it out. Border width as well, let's make that one 0. However, we're going to add a box shadow just for some effects, all right? So let's scroll down in here. The box shadow color, we'll leave that as the default. However, we're going to change the values in here to 1, 1, and then I have 2, and then I have 1 for the spread. So that's how it will look like. Also, we're going to make some changes to the padding. I've tested this, and in my humble opinion, 40 pixels is the best. And then border radius, we're going to make this one just 5. Okay, that's that for the background. Let's scroll down. Now, badge, we will add a badge to the second one, but I will show you how to do that later. So let's just go down in here and change the button design. So from subscribe now, let's go with choose. All right, so choose, and let's make some changes. So for the style, I'm going to go with outline. All right, and right here where you have the size, we're going to go with the large size, a fixed size of 196 pixels. And then for the design as well, we're going to make a change to the text color. We're going to go with the blue color we've been using thus far, which is 338 FEC. And then the border color as well will be the exact same value, 338 FEC. For the hover effect, I'm going to leave these as the defaults. All right, you can change the colors if you want to, but I'm not going to dabble into that. Okay, that's it for the button. Now, finally, what about the actual text, the features? How do we add them? How do we also add the ones that are not available? Well, before we do anything, let's first of all expand the width of our row so we can edit the features properly. So right here, let me just go ahead and choose the main parent row holding everything, and we'll just go with the alignment, go with the full width. And okay, let's do the same thing in here as well for this one. So we go over to the alignment, go with full width as well, and there you go. Okay, much better now. So how do we add features? Well, it's very easy. All you need to do is just to right here click on, if you want to add a feature that's available, simply click on one that currently exists and then just press enter, and then you'll have a new row where you can now add your feature. So let me just say 24-hour support, just as an example, right? And then I can keep on adding as many that I want that are available. And then if I wanted to add one that isn't available, I'll just do the exact same thing again, press enter. Now, let's say, for example, backups are not available with the agency package. All I need to do right here would be to go to where you have your icons and then simply search for the times. That's the one I use. And it's right there, and there you go, times. That's basically how to add a feature that's not available in the package. Now, check this out though. Notice that in a proper design, you'll have those that are available first of all, and then those that are not available next. It's not like they're mixed, right? So one thing you could do is you could set a color for the features that are more in number. It could be the features that are available or those that are not available. Now, since for the first package in here, the agency package, since most features are not available, we're going to set the common color to red. So how do we do that? Right here where you have common settings, you go to icon color and then you change it to red. So in my case right now, I'm going with the value of FF2200. That is my shade of red for all the icons in the first column. Now, for those that are actually available, like say unlimited domain use, I'm going to click in there, and then right here where you have the icon color, not the common settings, but the one up here, I'm simply going to change that one to the value of green. and my value right here is going to be 17CF42, and then I'll do that for each individual feature that is available. That's basically how you can get this done. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pause the video and I'll add all the remaining features that are available and those that are not available. Welcome back, and as you can see, I've added the remaining 2 packages, and a few things to point out. Make sure that your titles for your packages are actually in capital letters. You can either just type them in capital letters, or you click on the title, you come down here, and then you go to your advanced typography and then set it to uppercase if you wanted to do so. Now for the badge, the one we have right here that says most popular, it's very, very easy. I'm going to click on the second column in here. We'll come down here to badge, enable the badge. We'll go with style number 2. And let's just change the text first of all to most popular. All right, and then down here, we'll change the background color to the blue color that we've been using thus far, which is 338FEC. And there it is. So text color is white, font size is 14 pixels. I like that as it is. Let's go ahead now, update. Let's view the page. And there you go. That is our pricing page, well laid out. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Join me in the very next one, where we'll now take a look at building the final page, which is going to be the contact page. I'll see you then. All right, so let's go ahead now to build the final page on our website, and that's going to be the contact page. Now, here is a demo of what I initially planned for the contact page, but as you can see, it's very, very simple, just some text and then the actual contact form. And I figured out that, well, you're not going to learn that much if we do it this way. So what I've done is I've created another demo for something a little bit more sophisticated. So right now we do have the same page title, the same text. However, we're going to have a background with the image right there. We'll have 2 columns, one on the left for the form, and then one on the right will actually work with the Google Maps block, and then social media icons are down there at the bottom. So this is exactly what we are trying to accomplish with the contact page. So let's go ahead now and build the page. So the first thing we're going to do is I am going to add the section block with the ultimate add-ons. It's the one right here. So let's add that. And immediately I'm going to change the content layout right here from box to full width. And then right here as well, we'll go with full width. And let's go ahead and add, first of all, the heading. All right, so let's go ahead, type in heading in here. Let's choose heading with the Qubely. And we'll just go ahead and quickly do the usual contact us. Let's come over here to the right, alignment center, heading 44 pixels, font weight of 300, and then last but not least, our favorite separator, the line color of blue, and then position bottom. Okay, that's the first part all taken care of. Next is going to be the text. So let me just go ahead and grab this real quick. I'm going to go back in here. Let's add a new block right now, which is going to be the one for the advanced text. We're going to go with the one with Qubely. So paste that right there. I'll just come in here and paste that. Let's remove the header. And then over here to the right, we'll just align that to the center. Okay, now this is where the font begins. So take a look at this. Okay, we have the background image, which we will apply right now. But then we have 2 columns, one on the left with the form and then one on the right with the Google Maps. So let's do this. I'm going to go ahead now and add the advanced columns with the ultimate add-ons, and it's the one right here, advanced columns, and we'll go with 50-50. So I'm going to click inside the first one in here, and we're going to add our form. And we're going to go with the form with the one for Qubely. Now, the thing is, the ultimate add-ons does have its own forms block, but it's not quite as sophisticated as the one with Qubely. So let's search for contact instead. So it's contact form. That's the one for Qubely. And okay, so I'm going to make some quick changes in here. We're going to change the style from classic to material. And then let's get the full name and email on their own separate line. So they basically go 100% full width. So let's go to full name. So right here where you have width, we're just going to go all the way to 100. Let's click on email and do the exact same thing as well, all the way to 100. Okay, we're going to leave subject and message. For the button down here, let's make a very, very quick change. Button. All right, we're going to stick with the fill, alignment to the center. Let's go over to size. We'll go with large. And then for the design, right here, the text color, we're going to go with white. And the full color will be blue. The border color, we're not going to go with any border color at all. Now for the hover effect, we do have kind of like a slight hover effect right there, as you can see. You can see when you hover your mouse in there, it kind of changes color briefly. We'll leave that as it is. I'm not going to make any other changes in there. Okay, that's that for the form. Now we're going to jump into the second column in here, and we're going to add our Google Maps. I'm going to add the block, and let's search for Google. And again, you do have two options, the one for the ultimate add-ons and the one for Qubely. We're going to go with the one for Qubely. So right in here, we can add the address. So I'm just going to go with the good old 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I hope that's the spelling of Pennsylvania. And okay, it's close enough. It's basically the White House. All right, let's go with that one. That is going to be our address. And then down here, we can actually, I'm sorry, I forgot to do one thing. So while you're editing the map, you can actually increase the height as well if you wanted to. So let's increase the height. We're going to go all the way right now to 500. Okay, 500. And then down here, well, let's just go ahead and add the social media icons. So let's go with social icons. And then right here, we'll go with normal. We're going to go ahead to hide the labels. So we only have the icons. So by default, we have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Dribble, I believe. We don't need that. So I'm going to remove Dribble, but also going to remove YouTube as well. So we only have Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And we'll just go ahead and align that to the center. And there it is. Okay, let's make one last change, and that would be for the background for our section right here. So I'm going to go over to background. Let's go to background type. We'll choose image. And of course, I'm going to select my background image, and it's going to be the one right there. Let us select. And there it is. Okay, let's see how this will look like. So this is the first draft update. Let's view the page. And let's see what it looks like. Okay, so not too bad, but still some way off of what we have over here. So what changes do we need to make? Well, first of all, we need to add some padding. So we have more space between our section and the header, as well as the bottom here as well. But then also notice there seems to be some sort of an overlay with the background image. You can see it's a little bit lighter. And then right here for the first column where we have the actual form, it seems to have a background color of white with some opacity. Plus, it also seems to be a little bit wider what we have inside of the inner section. So let us make these quick changes. I'm going to go back in here. Let's go over to edit page. The first thing we're going to do, let's add the padding to the section. All right, so let's go over here. Now, the inner width, let's do this one as well. I'm going to increase this by 100 pixels to 1240 pixels. So our two columns are now a little bit wider. And then the spacing right here, we're going to go with 80 pixels top and then 80 pixels bottom, which has been pretty much consistent. Okay, that's for the spacing. And then now for the background, let's go back to the background right here. Now check this out, all right? All the way down here, you do have the image overlay color option. So we're going to go with white right there. And then for the opacity, we're going to increase this to 70, all the way to 70. So let's see how that looks like. And then also for the image, you would notice that right here, we actually get to see more of the skyscrapers than what we had initially. Right now, you'll have to like scroll down before you even begin to see the skyscrapers, right? So one thing we could do is we could change the image position from center to our bottom center. So now you will see that the skyscrapers will actually be a bit more visible. Let's go ahead, update, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's view the page. And then right there, instantly, you can see we can now see the skyscrapers right there. Okay, let's make one more change. We're going to add the background color to the first column in here. And then we're also going to create some space between the first column in here and the second column. You can see right here, we do have some space. So let's go back, edit the page. And all right, so right here, we're going to click on the first column right there. And then when you have background, we're going to go with background type of color, and then we're going to go with the white color. But then for the opacity as well, we're going to make it just, let's go around to about, let's go with 50 right there. And then for the actual advanced columns block, right here, you do have the columns gap. So you have default, but we're going to go all the way to our large and make the spacing just a little bit more. But then we could also do one thing, which is to click on the second column in here. Okay. And then right here where you have the spacing, we could even add some padding as well, or some margin. So check this out. I'm going to go with margin. So we're going to go with margin left. So right here, let's go all the way to 30 pixels. All right. Let's go ahead now to update. Let's view the page. And there you go. That is it. We have our contact form, we have our Google Map, and we also have some text in here as well. A little bit of a typo in here. This should have been are you interested, not Q, are you interested? But that's it for the contact page. Thank you so much for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next class. Before I conclude this course, I wanted to draw your attention to the templates that you actually have available with the Ultimate Add-ons plugin. So right here, whenever you're trying to edit a page or create a page, you'll see the templates button up here. Now, if you click in there, you'll have access to pre-built pages. You can see you've got pages for different kinds of subjects, from cooking to education to yoga to fitness and so on. But then right here, you also have patterns. So you click in here, and right here, for example, you can search for contact. So like a contact page, for example, and then right here, you can see you do have different versions, and you can see where I got the background image of our contact page from. This is the background image right there. So it's very, very, very easy to make use of these. You just simply click on import. All right. And this might take 10 seconds, 15 seconds, but you will have the import to your page. And then from here, you can begin to make whatever changes that you need to make. So I just wanted to draw your attention to the fact that you do have plenty of templates available that you can work with the Ultimate Add-ons. Also, Cubely right here, I just wanted to talk about this option in here for Cubely. You can choose to import layouts. So if you go to the button right there, from the Cubely website, you will have access to a wide variety of layouts. You can just go with the free one right here. Those are the free. And of course, right here, you can see different kinds of sections. Over here to the left, you can go with the one for, let's say, a table, right? Okay, well, table wasn't available with free. Let's see, countdown, non-available, contact, project, features. Okay, so for features, you do have some that are free. And there it is. So just wanted to draw your attention to the fact that you can make your life a little bit easier as a WordPress Gutenberg user. Make use of the templates whenever you can, but at least now you know how to work with Gutenberg, you know how to work with the Cubely add-ons as well as the Ultimate add-ons. So regardless of whatever template that you import, if you need to make any necessary edits or changes, you will be able to do so. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next class. Okay, so congratulations, you've learned how to build a full professional business website by making use of Gutenberg, and I really do hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, put them down in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer them as soon as I can. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, hit the bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you found this video useful and you know of anyone who might benefit from it, don't hesitate to share the video with them. That would really help me a lot. My name is Alex, stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you next time. Cheers.